When it comes to children and divorce, a question I get asked a lot is how much impact does a divorce or breakup have on a child when they reach their adult years? In this video, I want to look at the way experiencing the divorce of your parents when you're a child impacts the way that you see family, and why the word and the concept of family may mean something different to adult children of divorce than to those who grew up in intact families. When some people hear the word family, their face lights up. You can tell that it's a very positive and meaningful idea for them. I decided to do an informal survey. I asked people who grew up in intact families what came to mind when they heard the word family. And so for them, they started to say things like this. When I think of family, I think of belonging, togetherness. I think of love, home, safety, security, support, children, connection, fun, happiness, laughter, comfort, unconditional acceptance. They thought about parents and siblings, holidays, food, their history. They thought about care and hard work, loyalty, nurturing, protectiveness, commitment, connection, unity, forever, consistency, and hugging. There were some negative comments as well about confusion, anger, frustration, disappointment, and so on. But by and large, the comments were incredibly positive. To sum it up, people who grew up in intact families often associate family with positive memories. It's a place of connection and trust, a place where they're seen, known, supported, welcomed, wanted, and heard. It's a place where they belong. When I asked adult children from divorced or separated parents what came to mind when they heard the word family, it was a very different type of tone. Yes, many of them said family brought up the idea of love, but also it was complicated. There was tension, sadness, fighting, disconnection, anger, rejection, conflict, arguments, disappointment, separation, comfort, hard, wonderful, painful, mother, father. These aren't in the specific order, but they're painting a picture of the difference between those who grew up with intact families and those who grew up in divorced or separated families. In this video, I'm going to focus on the experience of children from divorced or separated parents. If that's you, I wonder what came to your mind as I went through those lists of words. Which ones of them did you resonate with? Chances are family is a loaded word for all of us because no family is perfect. But the experience of growing up with divorced or separated parents has given you a unique angle on family. When you think about family, you may immediately remember your parents' breakup and the difficulties that followed it. You might remember moving back and forth between those two homes, between the two families. You may be familiar with questions about belonging and identity, wondering who you could depend on, where you fit, what might fall apart next, and how to prepare for the pain that was probably coming. One of your parents may have disappeared completely from your life. Leaving a hole that was painful stirs up memories of rejection and abandonment. As a child, you didn't have the mental or emotional capacity to understand the dynamics and complexities of adult relationships. You probably didn't know if or how your parents tried to work through some of their challenges and the relationship problems. You were likely unaware of the baggage that each of your parents was carrying from their own childhood, their own past relationships, from their own issues and challenges. All you knew was that the two people you loved the most no longer loved each other, and therefore something precious, your sense of family, togetherness, had been lost. For many of us children of divorce, the years after the breakup continued to bring more pain, loss, confusion, and disappointments. It's possible that you moved homes or maybe moved schools. Important people in your life, extended family members, friends, social connections came and went. Perhaps one or both of your parents remarried and began a new family. And suddenly in your parents' lives, there were new priorities, new relationships, new pressures, new expectations. There were new personalities in your life and in your home. If there were stepchildren, or if then there became half siblings, you had to share your parent or parents with people that you hardly knew. These changes left you with questions about belonging, who you could depend on, what was expected of you, where you fit. In the years since your parents broke up, things may have settled down. There may be wonderful additions to your life now, step-parents, step-siblings, half-siblings. But regardless of how your family has changed for the positive, your parents' breakup has changed your family forever. And it's okay to be sad about that, even as life moves on. As a child, there was very little that you could control when it came to your parents' breakup and their successive relationships or marriages. But now, as an adult, you are in a different stage of your life. As an adult, you have a huge say in the kind of life that you want to build, the kind of relationships and family that you would like to establish. You also get to decide how much contact you want to have with your parent or parents and your extended family. If you experience family as a supportive, welcoming place where you're able to be yourself, where there is a place of belonging and connection, this may be a very appealing thing for you. You may have great hopes and expectations about finding a partner of your own, starting your own family, having children, and building that network of friendships and connections, which make family such a beautiful gift to so many people. But if family for you was something full of disconnection, fear, insecurities, questions, instability, you may be left feeling torn between your desire for what could be and your experience of what has been. You may be uncertain how to move forward and how to build the kind of family that you would have wished you'd had as a kid. Let me encourage you by saying that there are millions of us who are in your shoes, who have grown up with divorced or separated parents and are trying to navigate and negotiate life as an adult. It's completely normal to ask yourself questions about marriage and family. Do you want to get married? Do you want to have kids? If so, what's that going to look like? How are you going to create that thing that you have never seen? Questions of marriage and family are big for everybody, but especially difficult for those of us who are carrying the pain and loss of our parents' breakup with us into our future relationships. Many of us will be carrying insecurities and fears, wondering if we're doomed to repeat the same mistakes or the same patterns that our parents did. One blessing that I see in my life as an adult child of divorce is that my family difficulties and the situation of my parents' breakup has given me the opportunity to truly reflect on what I want from a marriage, what I want from a family, and what I would need to do to be the kind of person who could maintain that kind of relationship. I don't have the luxury of going into marriage on autopilot, having never thought through what could go wrong, what could go right, what I need to change, and what I need to work on. Your experience of your parents' breakup has shaped your view of family, and it's okay to be honest about that, for good and for bad. If you found this video helpful, then please subscribe to this channel and follow along to learn more about the experience of adult children of divorce, how we can understand our past, how we can heal from our pain, and how we can move forward to a life of healing, connection, and love.